sorry. Representative Garrett moves substituting form to Senate Bill 856. Proper motion, probably seconded. Without objection, so ordered. Representative Garrett.
Mr. Speaker, I move passage of Senate Bill 856 on third and final consideration.
Representative Garrett moves passage of Senate Bill 856 on third and final consideration. Properly seconded. Any without objection? Representative Garrett. Next.
Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I'm going to do my best to present this without attaching the motion that comes with this particular legislation. This is the James Dustin Samples Act. This is a piece of legislation that has been worked on by this legislature for the past 5 years. And while we have many members here standing in the well, we have many co-sponsors on this piece of legislation, it certainly wasn't the concept of this particular legislation that got this legislation to the floor today. I want the members to recognize that this legislation was always held up because it wasn't funded, because we thought it was potentially too expensive to take care of those folks that take care of us. And I want you to know that this legislation was not in the governor's proposed budget. It was not in the governor's supplemental budget. This legislation was funded by everyone that's looking at me right now and everyone that's across this chamber in the Senate. This was a legislative initiative to fund this piece of legislation. So, with that, for the folks on our finance committee, for the folks on the finance committee in the Senate, and all folks that have signed on as co-prime sponsors of this legislation, I know that I thank you, but I know those folks that are above us in the gallery to my right that put on the uniform every day to go to harm also thanks you for this piece of legislation. So let me tell you what it does. We honored today some state troopers in the well at the beginning of session today. And while I did not know Dustin, who was from Cleveland, Tennessee, that this legislation is named after, I bet there is a person that you are imagining right now in your district that's a firefighter that you have a relationship with. I know that you're visioning that person. Well, that's what this legislation is about. We don't have to know a particular person to realize the risk, the danger, the sacrifice that our firefighters endure every single day for a call that they get that they don't know what that call is going to look like. And what that call might look like is a wreck where there's a child that's severely injured. That firefighter may have a child that's that same age and has to have that image in their mind for the rest of their life to potentially save that life. And the way our laws currently exists now, there's a stigma. All of us have weakness. All of us don't want to tell someone that we're hurting, that our mind is messed up, that we can't sleep at night, that we have nightmares of what happens each and every day. We don't have to live that life as members of this body or in my other life as a lawyer. We don't have to go to bed knowing what we're seeing every day that we're called upon to save lives and how we can't function later. We can't be a good husband. We can't be a good wife. We can't be a good grandfather. We don't deal with that stigma. So what this legislation removes, what this legislation does that all of you are supporting, is that firefighter, that person that goes up to that scene, it's automatically presumed that any post-traumatic stress that they have as a result of that accident relates to the job that we've asked them to do. That's what this legislation does. And see what is going to happen from this legislation becoming law when our governor signs it, is that they can get the treatment initially. They don't have to go to a body and say, I am depressed, I can't sleep. I can't function as a husband, as a wife. I can't be a father to my children. I can't be a mother to my children and have a body like this say, you can't get the services that you need because you have to prove it this particular instance. This legislation allows the stigma for our firefighters to serve without embarrassment of the stuff that they witness when they go to the fire, to the danger, and try to save lives. So, Mr. Speaker, we have...
All right. You're 5 minutes. Hang on. We got to deal with the amendment. Call up the First Amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Local Government Committee Amendment Number 1, same as Senate Amendment
Chairman
Number 1.
Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Same as Senate Amendment, move to withdraw.
Without objection, Amendment Number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Thank you. Chairman Clemens, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chairman Garrett, was there something else you'd like to say, sir?
Representative Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Chairman Clemens. Today, this legislation is named after James Dustin Samples, and I want to tell you a little bit about him. He was a firefighter in Cleveland for 22 years, served his city in a capacity that I could never imagine. And I don't know if his widow, Jennifer, who was here, Jennifer, she's right in between the columns there. For 5 years, she has pursued the 303 project to this day, and this day it's here on the floor. One thing that has moved me is when you testified in one of our committees that y'all's daughter now wants to become a firefighter. I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty cool. I said to them earlier, before we gathered here, and I hope my time, that I had a Dalmatian when I was a kid. The worst dog I've ever had. But when you are a child, when you are in 7th or 8th grade and you see a fireman or a police officer, man, y'all look really cool, you know? And it's the kids that want to go in that profession because they want to see service above themselves. And that's what I think about that our firemen is, and our firemen do, firemen men and women, that inspire a generation to be called by their community to serve and protect those that need it. Ms. Samples, you have carried on a legacy beyond Dustin, beyond your child and her children to come. And I'm extremely proud of you and the firemen and women that stand with you today to pass this legislation on this floor. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Representative Garrett renews his motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, any objection to the, Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chairman Garrett, I really appreciate that description. Had an opportunity to meet with the firefighters out in the Legislative Plaza. I want to take an opportunity to thank the chairman of finance, who we've had this discussion many times over the last several years, and to Patsy and to Gary's commitment to making sure this happened this year was phenomenal. And so thankful to them, and of course to our Senate colleagues and to all of you. But I had the opportunity 3 years ago to meet with the Cookeville Police Department lieutenant named Paul Parrish, who is up there today. And he shared with me his own personal story and why this bill was so important. And so, Paul, thank you for advocating for those firemen in Cookeville in our district. Appreciate you being here today. And this is not just for you also, but for all of our firemen. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Any objection to the question? We're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 856 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? All right. Mr. Clerk, take the vote.